Unload lime. This field's been in hay. We tried planting alfalfa in it. You can see there's some here, but we haven't had very good germination rate. That's because our pH levels are off. So we're going to put 2.5 tons of lime on this field. I have to decide yet whether I'm going to disc it in or if we're just no-tilling corn right into this. But it needs something to bring up that pH level. Otherwise the fertilizer just isn't effective. So throwing money away on the other fertilizer if we can't put lime in. A truckload like this was just over 500 bucks. I didn't think that was just too bad to fix the pH of this field. We'll just have to worry about spreading it later. There it comes. And there it slides out. Not quite half done. What is the time here? 7:50. So I've been at it for about an hour at this point. So amazingly, pretty efficient. I wasn't sure how long this would take, but it's doing halfway as decent job here. Just cutting up the sod clumps. I was afraid if I go with the disc, my finishing disc after the offset disc, it was going to take several passes and I was still going to end up with sod clumps. But this tiller has been doing a good job. It is working the snot out of this 45 horse tractor though. I'm moving right along probably, I would guess 5-6 miles an hour. But it is holding up and getting the job done here. So I'm going to get back at her. Did have one casualty. My water bottle that I've had for probably 6 years unscrewed and fell off and is tilled up somewhere here. So I'm pretty bummed about that. Yeah. So maybe I'll come across it. I'm sure it's probably all smashed if I do find it. But I'll let you know if I do. Okay, so we had a change of plans. You can see over there, hopefully you can see, did a good portion of this field, probably 3/4 of this field with the tiller, which worked very, very well. It got dark last night and I discovered I did not have headlights on Little Blue. Yeah, something happened with the wiring there. But driving it home, I got a mile from home and the tractor died on me. So this morning, tried to revive it a little bit, pull started it, it did start, died after a little bit, so I think I've got some fuel issues that I have to resolve on that one. So we hooked up the finishing disc to the 7420, and we are out disking. We disked a little 3-acre patch across the driveway first. It probably took an hour and a half to get that disc down because of how many passes it's taking to chop this sod up. It doesn't help that it's so extremely dry out here. You can see by the dust flying. But it'll give us a little bit of a side-by-side experiment. We'll be able to see here in the field as the summer goes on if we have any difference in quality where it was tilled versus disc. So I don't know that there necessarily will be, but it'd be kind of cool to see if there's any difference there where the clods are busted down a little bit finer with a tiller. But something to watch for through the summer. Make some notes and watch that as that progresses. So we're hoping to finish up discing here after a little bit and go start planting again. Here working on my Great Plains planter again here in 2025, getting ready to put some corn in the ground. And number 7 seed sensor wasn't working last year, so going to replace that. One thing that I'm not real impressed with, and maybe I'm doing this wrong, but in order to get this seed tube out, I had to unbolt. I guess it is only 4 bolts, but it seemed like it would be easier than that to get this seed tube to come loose. Or it's still not the most convenient to get out of here. I can get it up part way anyway. And then here's my sensor. So go ahead and replace that. We've got a brand new one here from Shoop. About half the price as I'm ordering. I think it was like $200 if you get the same Dickie John sensor from Great Plains, and it was less than 100 from Shoop. So we'll get this installed. Hopefully that's what my problem is. I know last year I checked all the connections and that didn't seem to make a difference. So probably this sensor. All right, we got our row 7 sensor in. Just finished filling up. We're using Midstate Genetics. This is a 905 AA variety. It's a 90-day, and it's a refuge in the bag, which we don't really need, but we got her. You can see kind of a color difference there. I also timed all the rows, so we set our population for basically 32,000. What we're shooting for. Last year I got a little heavy on the population. I was shooting for about 34, 35, and it shot up to, it was 37, I think is what we ended up running. And I didn't believe my monitor and should have. But at any rate, to get our stagger right, they've got numbers stamped on these sprockets. So I clocked the first one to 1, and for our population, we're going to 17 on the rear. And they've got this special little tool here. You put that in and it jumps the chain 1 tooth at a time. So you can crank that. So I went all the way down and did that for all 12 rows. So now we should be clocked. If I can get that blur out of there. Should be clocked and timed. We'll see once we actually put some seed out what it looks like. Right, boys? Mm-hmm. All right. All right, it's going to be a little bit loud here because the tractor's running, but I just set my air pressure. So this isn't a vacuum, this actually is a fan, so we're pressurizing our seed meters. And I just set it using my flow control here. You can see, you can speed her up and slow her down. I'm shooting for somewhere right in the middle there. Now we're going to go around back and rotate our ground drive wheel and make sure we got corn metering out of everything. So we're going to start turning here. Now we can see we got seed coming around. Be on all of them. Check all the discs here. Got seed, got seed. It looks like it's carrying around. Make sure. Seed. Yep. Seed. Make sure we don't have any drop tubes that are plugged. Okay. Alright, so now we're rotating this around. Make sure we got seed carrying all the way around. We should start to see them dropping pretty soon. got a couple dropped there. Well, unless it was from me filling. There, I just saw one drop. 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 And drop. If we watch the seed tube closely here, you see the next one coming around and drop. There we go. Looks like we're carrying all the way around. There's what we're looking for. There's seed in every one of those. There we go. I think we're ready to go plant and then check our spacing in the field. Okay, so we are looking for our depth of the seed and then the seed spacing to tell us if we are set right. We've got our row cleaners up here sweeping, then our coulters, then our openers. Well, our seed should be setting in this trench before getting closed. I believe if we're set properly, we are about 13 inches between seeds. So we gotta dig and find them and see how deep they are and how far apart they are. So you can see here our seed spacing is approximately correct. We'll see, it was a little hard digging them up here, but I felt it was a little too shallow. So we're gonna bump these a little bit deeper here. Set all of these. And let's see here, make sure I get that one right. There we go. All right, we'll give this a whirl again, see how deep it's going. Okay, we got this set deeper now. Let's see here, we'll just pick a spot and fill this trench. There we go, that's the bottom of the trench there. Take my tape measure. We're about 2 inches. I think we're pretty warm here. And the soil has some moisture right now, but I want it to, we don't have any rain in the forecast and it's going to be hot. So I'm going to try going a little deeper here and see if that helps us out as far as some drought tolerance here in the future. Okay, planting day 2. We are going to pause our planting for a little bit here this evening because we had fertilizer delivered. So my fertilizer boxes are all rusted up solid. So last year I broadcast fertilizer. We're doing the same thing this year here. And I'm thinking about next year maybe trying to get some poultry litter on as another fertilizer option. So we got to get hooked up to that. Okay, so our spreader is 60 feet, which looks like we are set up for 60 feet there. I'm going to start my AB line right there and drive down to the other end. We'll start our PTO. There we go. We're going to lower our tire onto the back there to drive it. And away we go. Up to RPM. We got our full 60-foot spread. There we go. Here we are, doing about 5-some miles an hour. Get up to speed faster once we get our first line laid. Here's day 2 of planting. We just spread fertilizer, and this will kind of get worked into the planter as we goes up there. You can see here where I've already been. Thankfully there down the center is our marker going to the other end. So this was sorghum sudan grass last year, so that's what this stubble is. And we've got some weeds coming here that we'll spray out here shortly. But I think we finally got everything set. Last night was kind of a slow start. We were doing a lot of start and stop, trying to get the population, mostly checking the population, adjusting our depth. We're running about 2 inches. And now we're just planting. lights on the back of the tractor are really good, so I could see pretty good to the back, but the marker was starting to get lost last night after dark. The old halogen front lights on this tractor should be upgraded to LED so I can see my marker. So I had to quit about 9:30ish when it got too dark to see the marker. So hopefully I'll be able to finish tonight. I only have to get over those trees there, probably another 5 acres and I should be done. So here we are planting our last field of corn. The field that we were just on was the one that we tilled and then disked. That one was a pretty ugly one to plant. Didn't get any video of it. It's paying a lot of attention just to where my marker was. Here you can see this is the easiest marker that I've been running yet. It's just pulling up some chaff, and it's really easy to follow in this field. Pulling the easiest. That other field, so much of that grass got mixed in that it was wanting to kind of ball up. I mean, everything looked like planted good, but it just wasn't quite as easy planting. It pulled a lot harder on the tractor. So this is the last field of corn, then we can switch over to soybeans. But this is going no-till into an old hay field.